Okay. Let's get our fossiling on. Our fighting on, if you will. Perhaps even our fossil fighting on. I'd say sorry for being late, but I was eating dinner because I got off work late, so I'm really not sorry. I'm like, oops, I'm sorry. Oh goodness, my laptop. I am finding it funny that I forgot to change his outfit. Hi! I just realized I forgot to change his outfit, so I was looking a little silly there with the wrong outfit on. It's a little silly. Yeah, I just realized I was like, wait, did I change that? At least I noticed, like, now instead of at the end of stream, and then just had a outfit misfunction for the entire time. Ugh. Anyway, I was late today because I was getting food, because I got off work late. And I was not watching the time. And I was like, it's fine, we'll still play. Okay, what dinosaurs? Yeah, I listened to the Mystery Dungeon thing, and it made me cry. It's such a good theme. What the hell? How dare things make me feel emotions? Okay. So let's check. You, Raptor. Okay. Just checking where I need to go next. But it is looking like I have all the body parts. I have all of his body parts, correct? Yeah. Okay, so I think I have all the body parts from the guys in the second area. Oh man, today was a doozy though. Okay, so at work, there's a girl who is one of my coworkers. She is very sweet. I have to say that to start off because, oh my gosh, she is so unaware of her surroundings at like all times. And working at a shelter, especially with like dogs and cats that are potentially feral or very aggressive animals, that's not a good thing. But like today, she was cleaning in the room where new like cat intakes go, and one of them had a caution sign on it, which means that like the front desk people already had trouble moving them from the intake area to that room. There was potentially also issues with like the vet techs trying to see them when they first came in. So obviously, with a cat like that, you leave them alone. And somehow, she got bit by this cat. And so this cat had to be put on bite quarantine, which is already, like, this cat's already in a stressful situation. So I don't know why they were officially surrendered or anything like that. it's not really super my place to ask why the people surrendered the cat that they did. But, like, the cat's in an unfamiliar spot. They're pissed off about it. They're afraid. They don't know where they are. Everything is new. And they already were, like, showing aggressive behaviors. So I don't know what... And, like, the room that they're in, like, the way the cages are set up is that there is a way for you, like, there's a way for you not to touch the animals at all. Because, so, in the cage, so it's basically set up in, like, 2 different areas. So, there's, like, the main area where, like, the cat will sleep, and their food will be placed, and their water will be, and then there's, like, this little area where there's, like, sliding doors, with one side with, like, circle holes so they can get through it, and then the other side is, like, just a blank wall. So, like, you can pull these slips out, close it, so you can, like, have the cat on one side and clean the other one without, like, contact, and then move them through, and then clean the other side. And somehow, using that system, she got bit by this cat. So this cat is now on bite quarantine because it drew blood. And the thing is that once an animal draws blood, we have to, like, put it on bite quarantine, and then so it gets, like, a 2-week timeout, and then after that we see if it's calmed down. But, like, that goes on their record. So now this cat has, like, you know, a bite quarantine on its record, so it's less likely to, like, be adoptable to people, because, you know, people don't really like cats that have bite histories. And then, like, I'm so pissed off about it, because this is the second time she's gotten bit by a cat at the shelter in, like, the amount of time she's been working here. And she's only been here since, like, maybe April. So, in the time it took for her to, like, start working here and to this point, so, what is it now from April? Like, a couple of months? A handful of months? Cat, you better not step on my laptop. She can stay there. Do not pick her up! She's on my bed! She's hanging out! I don't know if I saw the thing I sent you yesterday. Can you please not cough in my room?
Dies.
I'm being so serious. I'm being so serious. All my mic is picking up is you coughing. Please get out of my room if you're just gonna cough. I don't care if you have bronchitis. Get out of my room if you're gonna cough. Not if you are coughing in my vicinity with bronchitis. Anyway, I didn't see what you sent me yesterday, because yesterday was a really fucking busy day. Where, okay, so there was a huge rescue that, our sanctuary, our shelter had, and, like, so I was at work late yesterday as well because of this rescue, and then I got home and ate dinner and then immediately went to bed. So I will check that after stream, but, like, I did not have time to do anything yesterday. I basically cleaned the rooms I was in charge of, and then I was there until, like, 6 p.m. at the earliest, I think, is maybe when we got out, working with that rescue, and then I got home, I ate dinner, and then went to bed immediately, because it was like a 30-dog rescue. It was a whole thing. I can't talk more about it, just because of, like, the rules at my job, but, yeah, it was just a big rescue. But I will look at it after stream, I promise. Ugh. But yeah, at this point, like, she's gotten bitten by cats twice. Because she's not paying attention. She's not, like, she's not listening when we tell her how to handle these animals. And at this point, I don't think she should be put in rooms where she has to handle animals anymore. Even though the room she was in was one where you didn't have to handle the animals. Like, genuinely, I do not know how she got bit, because it was one where it had a little slidey door in the middle, so you could just use the slidey door to keep the cat on one side. And then usually it's best to clean, like I don't know how she got bit by this cat. And then she was, like, joking about it afterwards, and I'm like, it it's a cat bite. You don't be joking about that. It's like cat bites are serious things, especially if it breaks skin because cats are carnivores. They have so much more. They have so many more like germs going on in their mouth, and cat bites have such a high percentage rate of getting infected. Like, oh my gosh, she's gonna like at this rate, if she keeps getting bit and she keeps acting like it's no big deal and not taking her antibiotics and not keeping the wound clean and not keeping it covered when she's at work, she's gonna lose her fucking arm. And that's the reality of it. Like, she'll lose her arm if she keeps acting like this. Because last time she got bit, it was by a feral cat that was in the garage that probably didn't have any of its vaccines because it was a feral cat. Ah, maybe that's why.
I forgot to take the steroids.
But yeah, so, and the thing was is that after she got bit by that one, like, she lied to our supervisor and said it was just a scratch, even though it was a bite, which we're not legally allowed to do. Like, in our contract that we signed when it came on, we are required to report anytime we get bit by a cat, especially if it breaks skin. Because since cat bites are so likely to get infected, it is almost guaranteed that it will get infected. So, like, that was a whole thing. And then she was caught by one of the vet techs to be hiding that she got bit by a cat. And, like, she's probably gonna get written up for hiding the fact that she got bit by a cat, because we're not supposed to be doing that. Sounds like The Walking Dead. Maybe you just don't taste good to them. They're like, this one's not going to taste good. Maybe I won't bite them. Yeah, literally. Like, in the last time, like I said, so it was like a feral cat, she got bit. And then she, like, the next day she came in, and it was red, and it was starting to swell, and it was definitely infected. And this girl went home and didn't bother to clean it. She didn't bother to, like, put antiseptic on it or, like, put Neosporin or any of that. Literally, she just went home and left it. I don't even know if she, I don't know what the hell she's doing. So she didn't clean it. So she came in the next day with it being infected. So, like, our supervisor took her to the emergency, like, the urgent care down the road because I don't know. At this rate, I'm mentally keeping a tally because, oh my gosh. And so, like, our supervisor drove her to the urgent care because, like, obviously it was infected. And then I've come to find out, like, she wasn't taking the antibiotics that they prescribed to her to take for her fucking arm. I cannot make this up. It's so unbelievably dumb. She wasn't, like... Anyway. Ugh. Yeah, like, she wasn't keeping it clean. She wasn't bothering to cover it at work, where... And the thing is that we work at a shelter. So, there's a lot of dogs. There's a lot of, like, animal debris. So, like, there's things like hair and saliva and poop and pee. And you're going to be handling all of that throughout the day because that's just kind of the reality of the job. And so she was just having her wound open to having all of that get into it. And I'm like, no freaking wonder it got infected. The thing that most ticked me off about it, though, was the fact that when she was talking to our supervisor about it being red and potentially, like, infected, she was trying to play it off like, oh, it's not that bad. And the thing she said was, oh, I can just take the leftover antibiotics from when I got bit by a dog at my last job. Which is... There are so many things wrong with that sentence. So many. So first things first. If you are prescribed antibiotics, you should not have any left over. You should take the whole run unless and only if the doctor tells you to stop taking them. Because if you only take them until you feel better, then you have a higher chance of leaving bacteria that were a little more resistant to the antibiotic. And then, because of that, you have a higher chance of, like, that antibiotic not working for you in the future. And then your, bacteria could end up with someone else because, the world is a little disgusting and that's kind of the way the world works. And then, like, the next person who gets sick with that strain of that bacteria, the antibiotic might not work as well, which is why we have such rising rates of, like, antibiotics not working, because people don't take the full dose. They're so, Anyway, so there was that. And then the fact of the matter is that, like, she was trying to use antibiotics from a dog bite for a cat bite. And the thing is that, like you're saying, like, their mouths have so much bacteria in their saliva, like, because, especially cats and Komodo dragons, like, one of the ways that they kill their prey is by, like, biting them, and then, like, their saliva helps, like, kill them off because of, like, getting sick. And, oh my gosh. So, there's that, and then the fact that, like, the main thing is that, like, dogs, because they are more omnivorous, they tend to just have, and because of the fact that they're not, like, resilience hunters, or, things like that, they don't have as much, like, kill you bacteria in their saliva, so it's a lot less likely that you'll get sick from it unless they're not vaccinated, or if there's, like, other issues going on with the dog. Cats, on the other hand, their bites, if they get infected and you don't take care of it, you could end up losing your whole fucking arm. Like, it drives me bonkers. But yeah, there was my medical rant for you. Yeah, you could end up fucking dead. That's the thing. There's my medical rant for the day. If you're prescribed antibiotics, fucking take your antibiotics until they're gone, unless your doctor tells you otherwise. Especially if you get bit by a cat. If you get bit by a cat, go to the urgent care or your doctor immediately, because unless it's, like, your own cat that is vaccinated and stuff, and you take really good care of it, there is a high chance of it getting infected and then it causing serious lifelong damage. Yeah, same with humans. Humans have one of the highest rates of infection, like human bites. Like, human bites have one of the highest rates of infection just because of how much bacteria we hold in our mouths. Yeah, like, if it's your house cat, like, I'm not saying, like, you should just leave it all willy-nilly or whatever, but, like, if it's your own cat and they bite you, I would be... Sorry for scaring you, Melancholy Rogue. I'm so pissed at my coworker, because she's messing around with cats and then getting bit by them especially because she was working with cats that were, like, in receiving, or feral cats in our garage, and getting bit by them, and we don't know if they're vaccinated or not, and that's my biggest issue with it. If it's your personal house cat, and they're vaccinated, and as long as you're, like, keeping care of the wound, as long as you're cleaning it, as long as you're, like, putting antibiotic ointment on it, as long as you're keeping it covered and keeping it clean and all of that, you should be fine if it's your cat, if your cat is vaccinated. You shouldn't be worried. The main reason I'm so mad and I'm going on this rant is because the cats at the shelter are not always vaccinated, especially in the rooms that she ends up working in. I don't know why they keep assigning her to these rooms when she keeps causing issues like this. And then she keeps getting bit by them because she's not paying attention. Ugh. And then she was joking about it afterwards. Like, someone was, was like, hey, would you mind moving your head a little bit so I don't, like, bash you with the door to my locker so I could get my stuff so I can leave? And she's like, oh, I don't want to get injured twice today. And I'm like, now is not the time to be joking about this kind of thing. Especially not near me. Ugh. Anyway, if you ever want to get me ranting about things, just talk about general acts of stupidity when it comes to antibiotic use. Ooh. Cat magnet? Okay, I love being a cat magnet. It's so fun, because especially when you're at other people's houses and they're like, my cat doesn't really like that many people. They usually end up liking me. Not always, but usually. And I'm like, it's just because I'm so great. And probably also a little bit of the autism, but you know. That's a separate issue. Ugh. But yeah, especially if like you get bit by a cat and it starts getting infected, just go to the urgent care, go to your doctor, cuz like it can be fixed. You can be fine. Just don't leave it and then not take care of it and then like just Anyway, and this coworker also just drives me up the wall. Because she's just like, her main issue, like I said, is that she just doesn't pay attention. And then she does things that put both her and other people in, like, dangerous situations. Local idiot dies trying to pet tiger's belly. Just know I had no regrets. Okay. I have to admit, I was an intern at a tiger sanctuary. And when you get up close and personal with them and hear them, like, make noises at you, you become a lot less willing to pet them. At least in my experience. At least that might have just been me. But, like, oh my gosh. I loved those cats so much. I loved those tigers. But, like, you could not pay me to put my hands in there with them. Studies usually show that big cats, especially lions, tigers, and panthers, actually do not like being pet, and it greatly distresses them, because they are not built for that kind of contact, and usually they see it as another predator getting close to them, and, making them vulnerable, and usually they get really angry about it. So I would not recommend petting a tiger or a lion or a panther. Cheetahs, I think, are a little bit more... as far as I know, cheetahs are the same. It's just they're less likely to get angry about it, and they just get anxious about it. But yeah, they don't get... Unlike our cats, where, like, petting is seen as, like, a sort of, like, grooming ritual between them and you, big cats do not see it as like that, especially, solitary predators, because since they, you know, don't have grooming behaviors like that, it just distresses them and makes them really angry. Yeah, that's cute. My cat loves being held by me. She also loves being held by my dad, because my dad feeds her. Yeah, unfortunately, it does very much distress them, and they do not like it. So, if that is something that, you know, disinclines you from being willing to pet a tiger or a lion, then yeah, you probably should know that. They do not like it. It is not something that they are built to have, and, it tends to cause lifelong psychological effects that really hurt them down the line. Like, there was one tiger at the sanctuary who was part of the tiger cub petting industry, which is basically an industry where people will take tiger cubs away from their mom as young as possible, and then they charge people money to like hold them and bottle feed them and take pictures with them and all of that. And usually because they're taken away from mom so early, they have lifelong issues with like things like their cartilage and their bones, and other things like that because they don't feed properly. And it also causes issues with like they have a higher chance of having fractures and breaks and dislocations and stuff because their bones are so fragile. So the tiger at the sanctuary I was at, because he was part of that industry, he has like super bad arthritis that he's had since he was, I want to say it was 6 months when they got him. And he's had that arthritis pretty much since he was really young. And actually, it is now illegal. There was actually a federal bill passed in, I want to say 2021, maybe it was 2022, something like that. I don't remember what the name of it was called. I think it was called like the Big Cat Act or something like that. And it makes the tiger cub petting industry now illegal on a national level, at least in the United States. It also makes private ownership of big cats such as tigers, lions, panthers, things like that. It's now illegal. Thankfully that's at least illegal now. And yes, it should have been way earlier. But at least it was passed now, and I have to say that one of the reasons it was actually passed was because of the whole Tiger King documentary, which I have very strong negative opinions about. The only good thing, in my opinion, to come from the Tiger King situation was because it helped pass that law. And tigers are native to Asia, so there are some, like, the most common species, the Bengal tiger, is, is from India, and then there's, I think, 2 different species that are from, there's, I think, in China, and then there's some from Russia, and things like that. So pretty much all over Asia, there's, I think, I want to say there's 7, maybe it's 6. I think it's 6 tiger species left. There was originally 9, 3 have gone extinct, I think is what it is. Because there was 9, I remember the total was 9 originally. I can't remember if it's 6 or 7 that are still, alive, not extinct. And I don't know exactly when tigers started getting brought over. I couldn't say the exact time, but the main reason was it was a mix of the illegal pet trade, and then people wanting them as pets, poaching, things like that. I couldn't tell you the exact date when they were brought over. That would probably be something I have to look up. But the main reason that tigers are in the States is because of mostly the illegal pet trade, but also poaching and things like that. And actually there are currently more tigers in captivity in the United States than there are in the wild because of the illegal pet trade. So, yeah, just something to be a little mindful of with these guys. I do know that there are a lot of, like, conservation programs, like, zoos, the sanctuary I was an intern at and stuff, where they are, like, I know zoos have breeding programs where they're trying to release animals back into the wild. There are also other places there are, like, other sanctuaries that are mainly focused on, reintroducing as many tigers as possible back to the wild. Unfortunately, because they are mammals, oftentimes one of the biggest issues with releasing them back into the wild is the fact that mammals are the most likely type of animal to imprint. So that means that often when you're taking them out of the wild, you have a higher chance of them, you know, caring about you. And so it's harder to release them back into the wild because they're like, oh, humans are safe. So, you know, if you release them back into the wild, they'll just end up being like re-brought into the illegal animal, like the illegal animal trade and things like that, just because they'll go towards humans. But yeah, it is a problem that people are actively trying to fix right now, but it is something that is slow. And it's something I'm also very passionate about. One of the most interesting things related to animals. Huh. I'm not surprised that there were mass migrations. Usually there are when it comes to, climate changes. Usually, like from when, I want to say the Americas went from being like a swampland to like an ice age. I don't remember if it was that or if it went the other way. But something like that. But yeah, I'm very passionate about conservation of wildlife, and part of my funds does go to supporting things like zoos and sanctuaries like that. So ooh, I just gave myself the hiccups. Huh. That is interesting. I haven't heard of that. It is pretty interesting. I don't really have much to say on it though. Besides, huh, that's interesting. It is weird though that they swapped places. They just wanted a little switcheroo. Just wanted to turn it around. But yeah, long story short about my long rant. Conservation is important, and unfortunately, there are issues that we are dealing with today that are affecting wildlife. Well, there are decisions made by ancestors made in history that unfortunately are still affecting wild populations today, and unfortunately there is a lot of extinction going on right now due to a mix of like pollution, habitat loss, and other things like that. It's all very sad. Like, I know right now we're actually experiencing one of the biggest mass, not migration, why is that word in my brain? One of the biggest mass extinction events of amphibians that we've seen in a while. Which is pretty sad. Okay, time to swap you out with a different fire type.